Crew of the barque Lowestoft saved, 17th of November 1893. 130 years ago, the Lowestoft, a barque from Blyth, ran into trouble on entering the Tyne in heavy seas at 3 a.m. The ship was en route from Grimsby in a southeasterly gale and was in tow with a tug when the line snapped as she entered the river mouth. The ship drifted and ran aground on the rocks along the inside of the North Pier. Luckily, 4 of the crew were able to scramble up the yardarm and jump to safety on the pier, while 3 other seamen, plus the cook, master and mate, were rescued by the TVLB. The old warning guns had recently been scrapped in favour of powder signals, which couldn't be heard in the village, but there happened to be a few men on hand for this rescue. J.F. Spence, brigade founder member, wrote to the Board of Trade to have this fixed and the cannons reinstated. Quote, "Sir, on the morning of the 17th of November 1893, a wreck occurred at the inside of the end of the North Pier, Tynemouth. On this occasion, 2 cotton powder signals were fired, which is the signal used by the Coast Guard to summon the volunteers to assist in endeavouring to save life from shipwreck. It appears that, in the village of Tynemouth, where many of the volunteers reside, which is not more than 300 yards from the Coast Guard station, the explosion was not heard, and in consequence, very few men mustered at the scene of the wreck. Fortunately, their services were not required, as the barque Lowestoft was so close to the pier that the whole crew managed to scramble onto it from the yards, rigging, etc. We have never considered these signals, which explode when 300 or so yards in the air, anything like as effective as the old guns, and this wreck brought the question very forcibly to the front. Captain Freeland, Royal Navy, came on his last visit of inspection of the Tynemouth Life Brigade in September, said that the cotton powder signals were under review, and though he spoke of going back to some kind of guns as a signal, he finally decided to let the question alone for the present. We think, if he would look into the matter again, what occurred at this wreck might cause him to alter his decision and advise adopting the old signal by guns, which was found so effective for the great number of years during which they were used, and which only ceased when the War Department pulled the Spanish battery down. Will you kindly have this looked into? I am, sir, your obedient servant, John Foster Spence." End quote. The Tynemouth Volunteer Life Brigade needs support in order to continue their vital work keeping people safe on our shorelines. Please consider a donation to them.